I'm the unlucky sucker tool character in a tragic story. I'm so broke I can barely afford to eat. Yet I keep showering the female lead with money, as her personal ATM. First I send her cash, flowers, and gifts. Then I give her my eyes, my kidney, even my life. But here's the problem. I'm just a broke loser. If I'm going to spend money on her, I need to actually have money first, right? So when would I ever have money? Of course, when the female lead needs money. Holy crap. I think I just triggered a bug. Chapter 1. My childhood friend, Willow, accidentally broke a rich second-generation guy's fountain pen. She had no money to compensate him, yet she insisted on paying for it anyway, with a wronged expression. Willow said, "What should I do, George? The money I have on me isn't nearly enough to pay for his pen." I touched the part-time wages I had just received in my pocket, and was about to start simping. I said, "It's okay, Willow, I have money." Before I could finish, a basketball flew over and hit my head. In an instant, a new memory appeared in my mind. It turned out that I was just an early dead male supporting role in a novel, and Willow was the female lead. To stay in character, I would devote everything to Willow. Every time she ran into trouble, I would step in to help her. What I gave her the most was money. When she went blind, I would even have to donate my own corneas so she could see again. Until I died saving the male lead, she began to hate him. The two of them then started an 800-chapter-long tragic love story, and in the end, reached a happy ending. I was just a tool character. In the early stages, I would dump money onto the female lead. And in the end, my death would trigger the tragic romance between the male and female leads. The classmate who had thrown the basketball ran over to apologize. "I'm sorry, I didn't notice." Before I could speak, Willow became unhappy. She said with dissatisfaction, "You hit someone and think a simple sorry is enough." After all, I had been so devoted to her, of course she would side with me. The classmate said apologetically, "How about I take you to the infirmary?" Still thinking about the plot, I pushed Willow aside and looked at him. "It's okay, I'm not hurt. And also, thank you very much." Thank him for that hit, it woke me up. The classmate looked completely confused. After confirming that I was really fine, he turned and left. Willow continued asking me, "Gio, what were you about to say just now?" I quietly clutched my pocket tighter. "I have a part-time job with pretty good pay. Want me to introduce it to you?" I said. She immediately looked disappointed. "That's all you wanted to say?" "Yeah." I nodded without changing my expression. She pouted. "Forget it. It'll take forever to save enough money from a part-time job. I can't wait that long." "Damn it, you don't want to earn money yourself, yet you're trying to leech off mine. Gold digger." Since she couldn't get any real help from me, Willow looked very disappointed. After all, I used to give her money all the time. When she got sick, I paid her medical bills. When she had no money for food, I topped up her meal card. For the celebrity merchandise and concert tickets she wanted, I worked hard to earn money and buy them for her. Even her tuition had been paid by my parents. Now, she had broken the rich guy's fountain pen, worth 2,000 yuan. That rich guy was the male lead, Makoto. Makoto had clearly said she didn't need to compensate him. To him, that pen was just pocket change. It's not that she shouldn't repay it, but she genuinely couldn't afford it right now. But Willow had no money at all, yet insisted on paying. She even said proudly, "I won't take advantage of someone like you. If I broke your pen, I'll definitely pay you back." In the original plot, she used my money to buy a new fountain pen and compensate Makoto, successfully attracting the rich male lead's attention. Makoto was moved by her pride. He sighed. "Ah, she's resilient and full of life. She may be poor, but she's not insecure. She dares to resist and isn't afraid of others' judgment. She's truly such a special girl." Chapter 2. When I got home, my mom had already finished cooking. My dad worked out of town all year round and rarely came back. In the past, Willow would usually come over to freeload meals at my place, but today she didn't. My mom explained. Willow said she broke a classmate's fountain pen and insisted on picking up recyclables to make money. Even her grandmother couldn't stop her. Willow's family lives next door to us. Her parents passed away early, and her grandmother has been raising her by collecting bottles. My parents are soft-hearted, so they've always covered her tuition. If Willow really wanted to make money, she could earn more washing dishes at a restaurant after school than collecting plastic bottles. The only reason she's doing this is to put on a show, for me to see, and for my parents to see. In the past, whenever Willow needed money, I would take on part-time jobs and earn money for her. If she needed a large amount and I couldn't afford it, I would shamelessly beg my parents and take money from home. My mom looked at me, hesitating before saying, "George, that child Willow is indeed pitiful. We couldn't bear it, so we've been supporting her schooling all this time. But our family isn't well off either. That 10,000 yuan last time was borrowed by your dad from someone else. Last month, Willow was hospitalized. And the medical expenses came to 10,000 yuan. I was the one who begged my parents to pay it for her. I said guiltily, Mom, I'm sorry. I was too immature before. Willow isn't related to us in any way, and our family doesn't have enough money to be doing charity. Hearing this, my mom nodded in relief. As long as you understand, she said. Maybe it was because of the plot's influence, but over the years my parents had always paid for Willow's tuition. As for her living expenses, they had always been covered by me. My parents worked hard just to give me a better life, yet I pitied Willow for not eating well or dressing well, and I would rather go hungry myself just to give her money. Now that I've awakened, I won't use my parents' hard-earned money to support this so-called female lead anymore. In the original storyline, after I died, Willow relied on Makoto's support to achieve her dreams and eventually build her own career. Later, my dad had an accident at a construction site and urgently needed surgery. My mom went to Willow to borrow money, but she was driven out. With cold indifference in her eyes, Willow said, "Back when I had nothing, you all looked down on me. Even when I was hospitalized, you refused to pay for my treatment. In the end, it was only because Gio knelt down and begged you that you were willing to give me that handout. Even if I forgive you, George won't forgive you." Thinking about this, even if I were dead, I'd be so mad I'd come back to life. She never considered that my family was just average and simply couldn't afford that much money. She didn't mention at all that my parents had paid for her schooling for so many years, nor did she remember that she had been eating the meals my mom cooked since she was little. She just stood there, watching my dad die in the hospital, and my mom, left alone in her old age with no one to care for her, died in loneliness. Chapter 3. I took out the money I earned from my part-time job and handed it to my mom. Exactly 2,000 yuan, not a cent more, not a cent less. My mom frowned and scolded me. "Why are you working again? At your age, you should focus on your studies. Our family doesn't need this little bit of money from you." My parents might not be able to give me a luxurious life, but it's not like they would force me to go out and work. The reason I worked so hard at part-time jobs was just to give money to Willow, basically acting like a human ATM. I said, "Mom, I won't do it anymore." My mom didn't want to take my money, but I insisted on giving it to her anyway. I was worried that on impulse, I might end up handing it all over to Willow again. The next morning, I went to school with Willow. There were dark circles under her eyes. It was obvious she had spent the whole night picking up bottles. Gio, my grandma said these bottles only sold for 5 yuan. After all, Willow is the female lead. I don't know if offending her would bring me bad luck, so I could only keep acting like a simp like before, comforting her, supporting her. I encouraged her. "It's okay. If you keep trying, you'll save enough eventually. I believe you can do it." Emotional support counts as support too. When I saw someone selling hot dogs by the roadside, I was just about to buy some breakfast, but Willow said again, "My uncle and aunt give you 200 yuan a week for living expenses. Gio, can you lend it to me first?" She added, "I'll definitely pay you back." Without hesitation, I made a choice between a 5 yuan hot dog and 50-cent buns. "Boss, 2 buns," I said. Then I looked at Willow with a troubled expression. "Willow, my allowance has been taken away. Today my mom only gave me 2 yuan for breakfast. You know, last time when you were sick, my dad borrowed 10,000 yuan from someone, and we still haven't paid it back." Her expression stiffened, and she couldn't say anything more. Looking at the 2 buns I had just gotten, I handed them both to Willow. "Willow, even though I don't have much money, even if I only have 2 yuan, I'm willing to give it all to you." I still wore that affectionate expression, my eyes filled only with her. Willow looked moved. "Gio, you're the one who treats me best." But when she smelled the buns, she politely declined. She hates chai-filled buns the most. On the way, I watched Willow scrolling on her phone. My emotions complicated. I had liked Willow since I was little. Now I couldn't tell whether it was genuine love or just part of the plot setting. But Willow had always known how I felt. She neither rejected me nor gave me a clear response. When she was with me, she never kept any boundaries either. She enjoyed all the kindness I gave her, while her heart belonged to Makoto. Yet when I died, she was devastated, treating Makoto as the killer and wanting to avenge me, as if she truly had feelings for me that she couldn't let go of. I don't believe it, not even a little. Chapter 4. After school in the afternoon, Willow went off to collect bottles again. I no longer had to work part-time to earn money, which made things a lot easier for me. Suddenly, a dog ran up to me and bit onto my pant leg. I lifted my leg, trying to shake it off, but it looked at me with its wet, pleading eyes, and I couldn't help softening. It was probably a stray dog nearby. I took out half a bun I hadn't finished in the morning and fed it. Just then, a woman not far away suddenly shouted at me, "Son, Mommy finally found you." I was speechless. Was she calling me? Wait, I looked down at the dog by my feet and asked, "This is your son?" The woman grabbed my hand with a grateful expression. "Young man, Thank you so much. My son has been missing for days. It's all thanks to you for finding him. I scratched my head. Actually, it ran over to me on its own, she said. He must have been starving, and you even fed him. I was at a loss for words. The woman picked up the little dog. So moved she was almost in tears, not minding the dirt on its body at all. The dog affectionately rubbed against her arm. To thank me, the woman stuffed all the cash from her bag into my hands. A thick stack of 100 yuan bills. It wasn't that I didn't want money, I just had a bad feeling about this. I said, I didn't really do anything. I really can't accept this money. But she pulled out a lost dog notice from her pocket. I've posted notices everywhere. It says on them, whoever helps me find my son will get a reward of 2,000 yuan. I can't go back on my word. 2,000 again. The woman forcefully pushed the money into my hands and left with the dog. Still uneasy, I counted the bills. Exactly 20 notes. Could it be that this so-called plot actually has a will of its own? Determined to make me hand over 2,000 yuan to Willow no matter what. Geo, what are you doing? Willow's voice suddenly rang out. My scalp went numb. I was clutching a thick wad of cash in my hand. There was no time to hide it. Before I could say anything, she walked toward me. Geo, what are you holding? Fuck, I'd rather be holding a pile of crap right now. The moment Willow saw the money, her eyes lit up instantly. She said, Geo, you managed to get the money? I knew you couldn't bear watching me struggle every day picking up bottles. How much is there? Is it enough? I gave her a perfunctory smile while quickly thinking of a plan. Then I curled my lips into a smile and said, Willow, this is money I earned from working part-time for several months. I originally planned to give it to you. Just as she was about to reach out and take it, I suddenly changed my tone. But my dad has been working overtime for a long time just to pay back the 10,000 yuan as soon as possible. I want to help ease his burden. Willow's expression stiffened. I know your dad's job isn't easy, she continued, but if I don't pay Makoto back, that rich second-generation guy will definitely cause trouble for me. Can you help me? We can figure out another way for your dad. I lowered my head in hesitation, sneering inwardly. That sounded nice. We'll figure out another way. Doesn't that just mean I'm the one who has to figure it out? Makoto causing trouble for her? If I didn't already know the plot, I might have actually believed her. Breaking a fountain pen meant nothing to him, like losing a single strand of hair. Her eyes reddened slightly as she said, Please, Geo, help me. We're going to be family in the future anyway. I'll definitely take good care of your dad. She always said things that sounded meaningful but were actually vague. In the past, hearing that would have made me so happy I'd practically be wagging my tail. But now, if I refused her directly, it would mean completely falling out with Willow. Ending things like that, I'd feel bad about all the money I'd already spent on her. But if I gave her the money, I'd feel even more miserable. In that instant, an idea flashed through my mind. Since this so-called plot consciousness was so accurate, why not take a bigger gamble? So I smiled and nodded. All right. She happily threw herself into my arms. Geo, I knew you treat me the best. I took Willow to buy the fountain pen, but I didn't give it to her. I said, Willow, tomorrow I'll go return the pen to Makoto and warn him not to bully you again. That might not be a good idea, she said hesitantly. Geo, forget it. That person is arrogant and overbearing. I'm afraid you might get hurt. She quickly grabbed the pen and stuffed it into her bag. I nodded. All right then. Willow, be careful. Chapter 5. Willow didn't want me to go, but I went anyway. After morning reading class the next day, I walked to the doorway of her classroom. Right on cue, I saw Willow carefully handing the fountain pen to her desk mate, Makoto. Makoto clearly hadn't expected her to actually repay it. He looked stunned. Wait, I already said it's fine. Why did you really go and buy one? Willow replied seriously. Even if a fountain pen isn't expensive, it's still your property. I was speechless. Before she could continue, I walked straight in. Today, I'm not playing the devoted guy anymore. I'm going full male supporting role. Hey, you're Makoto, right? It's just a pen. Did you really have to pressure her like that? And you've been bullying Willow too, insulting her, picking on her. She's such a proud girl, and yet she had to come to me to borrow money. This is money I saved up from working part-time for a long time. Are you satisfied now? Don't think that just because you've got a bit of money, you can humiliate us. Heh, my expression, vicious and ruthless. My tone, arrogant and domineering. My posture, completely overbearing. This performance, I'd give myself a perfect score. What? Makoto clearly hadn't processed what I was saying yet. Willow grabbed me first, looking flustered. George, why are you here? Don't talk nonsense. I cut her off, putting on a righteous face. Willow, don't be afraid. You don't owe him anymore. You don't have to endure his bullying. George, she snapped. I had just ruined the perfect image she had built in Makoto's mind. I froze for a moment. Willow, I'm standing up for you. That's enough, Makoto interrupted. He asked, and you are? Willow spoke first. He's just my brother. Makoto gritted his teeth. Willow, I never forced you to pay me back. If you didn't have money, that's fine, but don't spread rumors about me and play the victim just to borrow money. Wrongfully accused by me. He was clearly furious, and his tone wasn't polite at all. Willow hurried to explain. George is my brother, we're family, so how could it be called borrowing? As for the rest, he misunderstood. Then she glared at me. George, Makoto isn't the kind of person you think he is. Apologize to him right now. I had no choice but to lower myself and mutter a humiliated sorry, then left in embarrassment. But the moment I got back to my classroom, I couldn't hold back the smile on my face. After making such a scene, let's see how Makoto is supposed to develop feelings for Willow now. Unless he's a love-struck idiot. Wait, no. In the original plot, he actually is a love-struck idiot. The best dowry a man can have is a love-struck brain. That saying was practically made for him. Chapter 6. At noon, Willow specifically came to find me, bringing dishes I like. Her eyes were slightly red, and she said in a pitiful tone, Gio, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to treat you like that this morning. I frowned and kept my head down, eating without responding to her. This balance had to be just right. A simp can have a temper, but not too much. Seeing this, Willow gently explained. You don't understand. Makoto cares a lot about his pride. If you confront him like that in front of everyone, he'll definitely hold a grudge against you. Those rich second-generation types are hypocritical and shameless. On the surface, he acts generous, but privately he'll find someone to get revenge on you. I asked, puzzled. Really? She nodded. Yes. So Gio, you should stay away from him in the future. I don't want you to get hurt because of me. She looked completely like she was doing this for my sake. I said worriedly, I understand. But then, if you're his desk mate, isn't that dangerous for you? Willow shook her head. It's okay, Gio. As long as you're safe, that's all that matters. I can take care of myself. Ugh. That night, Willow came to my house for dinner as usual. This was a good opportunity. While she wasn't paying attention, I secretly took her phone out of her school bag. I made an excuse about going out to buy something. First, I threw the phone on the ground and stomped on it a few times. Then I picked up a rock and smashed it hard. After trying to turn it on and confirming it was completely broken, I casually tossed it by the roadside, making it look like accidental damage. Finally, I leisurely returned home. There's no way I'm letting the 2,000 yuan go to waste. Chapter 7. When Willow came to me holding her broken phone, I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. I frowned and asked, Willow, how did this happen? She pursed her lips. I accidentally dropped it by the roadside. I don't know who stepped on it and broke it. I sighed. That's really unlucky. Willow grabbed my hand. Gio, I went to some shops and asked. They all said it can't be fixed. Oh, it can't be repaired. I replied with fake regret. She said, but life without a phone is so inconvenient. I nodded. Yeah, really inconvenient. She asked, what should I do now? I said, yeah, what should you do? Willow looked at me speechlessly. Gio, what's wrong with you? I looked confused. What's wrong with me? What she really wanted to ask was why I hadn't offered to buy her a phone. If it were before, I definitely wouldn't have been able to bear seeing her upset. I sighed. Willow, don't worry. I'll think of a way to help you. She let out a breath of relief, but still put on a pitiful act. It's okay, Gio. You don't have to force yourself. I'll just work harder picking up bottles to earn money. I was speechless. I was actually worrying whether fate would send me money again, and in what way. After school on Friday, Willow didn't walk home with me. As I passed by a restaurant, the owner stopped me. Young man, want a part-time job? We need someone to do cleaning. Just come every afternoon. I was speechless. He added, 800 a month. 2 months' wages would be enough to buy a phone. I said, Auntie, I'm still a student. I don't have time. On Saturday morning, I found a small flyer posted at my doorstep. Sell blood at a high price. Phone number. I silently picked up my phone. Hello, officer. Can't fate just deliver money directly to me like last time? The female lead is still waiting to buy a phone. Just when I was about to give up, my mom came home from work, excitedly telling me, George, our workplace had a lottery, and I won a brand new smartphone. I quickly covered her mouth in shock and excitement. Mom, let's just keep this to ourselves. Don't tell anyone. She didn't understand. Why are you so nervous? It's not like I stole it, I said. If you tell people, it might bring bad luck financially. My mom nodded superstitiously. That makes sense. She said, come, let me show you. This phone sells for over 8,000 yuan, perfect for you to use. I held the phone and looked at it for a while. Wow, it really was expensive. What has Willow ever done to deserve this? I said, Mom, we both just got new phones today. Let's send this one to Dad. She shook her head. You should use it. Your dad and I only make calls. We don't need a smartphone. I smiled lightly. Don't worry about it. As long as it doesn't end up with outsiders. If I used a new phone and Willow found out, That would be trouble. That very night, before the courier station closed, I mailed it to my dad. 2 days later, my dad video called me with the new phone, grinning ear to ear. "Son, this phone is great, it doesn't lag at all." By the time Willow came to find me again, I had almost forgotten about the whole thing. She said, "Gio, without a phone, it's so inconvenient to contact you." "Yeah," I said with a sad expression. Willow was speechless. Left with no choice, she finally brought it up herself. "Didn't you say you'd think of a way to help me buy a phone?" I nodded. "I did think about it. I just didn't come up with anything." Willow was speechless. I said, "Willow, I'll keep trying to think of a way. You should keep working hard too. I believe in you." Okay. 3 days later, Willow somehow got herself a second-hand smartphone, with cracks still visible on the screen. I knew it, she could manage just fine on her own. Chapter 8. Willow hasn't been looking well these days, probably because she's been hungry. Back when we used to eat lunch in the school cafeteria, she would only eat plain boiled cabbage. I used to feel bad that she wasn't getting enough nutrition, so I'd always use my own allowance to top up her meal card so she could eat more. But after awakening to the plot, I started bringing food from home every day and eating in the classroom. If anyone asked, I'd just say I was broke and couldn't afford meals. Makoto's birthday is coming up soon. Looks like my money-making days are about to start again. Willow's birthday happens to be 1 week earlier than Makoto's. In the original storyline, I scrimped and saved to buy her a 4-leaf clover bracelet she had wanted for a long time. It cost over 600 yuan. She turned around and sold it for 500 to buy Makoto a pair of sneakers. This time, I spent a huge sum at a 10 yuan shop to buy Willow a bottle filled with folded stars. I said, "Willow, I personally folded 999 stars for you. Do you like it?" She gave an awkward smile. "Gio, this is my birthday gift." I nodded. "Yeah, I stayed up late folding them. It represents my sincere feelings for you." Willow looked speechless. "Thank you, Gio." Willow came from a poor family. No one had ever really celebrated her birthday before, not even the food was any different from usual. In previous years, I not only gave her gifts but also bought her a big birthday cake. Back then, she always said she didn't care about the gift itself, but about the thought and sincerity behind it. So Willow couldn't really say anything this time, but her grandmother was a different story. Her grandma rolled her eyes immediately and said harshly, "You call this trash a gift for a girl? Aren't you embarrassed?" I didn't argue with her. Instead, I awkwardly looked at Willow. "Willow," she pressed her lips together. "My grandma is old, don't take it personally." I sighed. "All right, if your grandma doesn't like me, I'll head out first." After saying that, I ignored Willow trying to stop me and left in disappointment. When I was little, Willow's grandmother used to treat me very well. Whenever she had something good to eat, she would save some for me. During New Year, she would even prepare red envelopes for me. When my mom brought her fruit, she'd shyly refuse it, but at some point, she became more and more greedy. If I upset her, she would warn me, "Don't even think about marrying my granddaughter in the future." Next week is Makoto's birthday, and I suddenly realized, what kind of rich second-generation guy would care about a pair of 500 yuan sneakers? So I said, "Willow, don't you think this sports car looks cool?" She glanced at it and said impatiently, "It's okay, I guess." I sighed. "You don't get it. All men have a dream of owning a luxury car." Then I pulled up a 3,000 yuan watch and showed it to her. Driving a luxury car and wearing a high-end watch, what guy wouldn't like that? She paused for a moment. "Is that so?" I nodded. "Of course. Haven't you heard? Poor people play with cars. Rich people play with watches. I can't afford either, so I just play with my computer." Sigh, "These are luxuries only rich second-generation guys deserve." Willow's eyes flickered as she nodded thoughtfully. "Nice." She took the bait. "But there are still 6 days left. I'm really curious where the money will come from." Willow found herself a part-time job, washing dishes after school every day. Not easy, she actually got a job. Guess she's short on money now. In such a short time, washing dishes definitely won't earn enough. I'm her go-to tool. As long as she needs something, I'll help her, as long as I have the ability to. Chapter 9. That night, Willow called me. "Gio, I've run into a bit of trouble," she said anxiously. I played along. What happened?" she said. "When I was riding my bike, I accidentally scratched someone's car." I asked with concern, "Willow, are you hurt?" "No, I'm fine. It's just that the car owner is asking me to pay 5,000 yuan in compensation." 5,000? Was she trying to make a profit in the middle? I quickly said, "Willow, where are you? I'll come find you right now so the owner won't bully you." Willow went silent. Then she said, "Gio, you don't have to come. I'm afraid he might make things difficult for you." "Got it, the scratched car story is fake," she continued. "Can you transfer me 5,000 yuan first? Otherwise the owner says he'll sue me." I said helplessly, "Willow, how would I have that much money?" What should I do then? Her voice began to tremble, almost crying. Or, could you ask your mom to lend me some money first? Once I deal with the car owner, I'll definitely pay her back. I was speechless. Seeing that I wasn't responding, Willow started sobbing. Wah, Gio. I originally wanted to save money for my part-time job to buy you a watch, but I messed everything up. Why can't I do anything right? Gio, am I useless? Yes, you are. She choked up. I even wanted to surprise you after buying it. I lowered my voice, sounding heartbroken. Willow, how could you be so silly, working so late just to buy me a watch? Willow, you're really too good to me. When I have money in the future, I'll definitely make it up to you. Whatever you want, I'll buy it for you. Willow sniffled. Thank you, Gio. I didn't care what she was saying and continued painting big promises. Willow, I'll definitely work hard to earn money. Gio, right now I cut her off. You don't need to say anything. I understand. I love you too. Trust me, everything we want, we'll have it in the future. Stop talking about the future, she suddenly snapped. Willow, don't you believe in me? I ignored her and kept rambling empty promises. Furious, Willow shouted. George, listen to me first. The urgent thing is paying the repair money to the car owner. George, can you help me? I hesitated. But my mom isn't home. I'll call her now. Okay, call her quickly. My mom really wasn't home. She had gone to my grandma's place. I called a taxi and headed there as well. On the way, I ignored all of Willow's calls. Turning off my phone would have been too obvious, so I just set it to silent and deliberately didn't answer. Chapter 10. The next morning, in the classroom, Willow came to find me. George, where did you go last night? Why didn't you answer my calls? I put on a guilty expression. Sorry, Willow. My mom went to my grandma's place, so I went to find her, but I left my phone at home. I'm really sorry, $5,000 is too much. Our family really can't afford it. There were other classmates around, so she didn't want to bring up borrowing money. She left in a hurry. Before leaving, she said, the car owner gave me 3 days to pay him back. During those 3 days, Willow was extremely busy, working part-time while complaining to me. She said, Gio, I asked my boss for an advance of 2,000 yuan, but I'm still short 3,000. What should I do? So no more price difference now. Makoto's birthday was approaching. Willow couldn't wait anymore. Neither could I. After school on Friday, I happened to run into someone. We're filming a drama and looking for actors. Interested? The role I had to play was a wealthy rich second-generation guy, with only a short scene and 3 lines. All I had to do was throw a basketball at the female lead and mock her a bit. The production team had already coordinated with the school. They were filming some scenes on campus over the weekend, so it was definitely legit. I wasn't the only extra, they recruited several other students too. The job was completed easily. Looking at the 5,000 yuan that had just been transferred to my account, I felt a surge of emotion. In the end, this money still ended up in my hands. Chapter 11. On Makoto's birthday, Willow still gave him that pair of sneakers. Those 500 yuan were probably advanced from her restaurant boss, but what I got was 5,000. The plot really does favor the female lead. It will go to great lengths to satisfy her. So I started casually recommending beauty influencers to her from time to time, gradually making her believe that if she wanted to attract Makoto's attention, she needed to learn makeup and fashion. She buys 1 lipstick, I earn 800. She buys 1 bottle of perfume, I earn 1,500. She buys 1 dress, I earn 3,000. She buys 1 handbag, I earn 20,000. Of course, just like the time I tricked her into buying Makoto a watch, I repeated the same tactic several times. Figurines, handheld consoles, graphics cards, keyboards, mice. I was making money hand over fist. In the original plot, Willow also kept asking me to buy her clothes and cosmetics, just not this expensive. But every single yuan came from me and my parents' blood and sweat. Now that she can't get money from me, every expense is something she borrows from elsewhere. As for where she's borrowing it from, I don't know. And frankly, I don't care. I'm not the one paying it back. However, what I never expected was, because I kept encouraging Willow to give Makoto gifts, he actually seemed to start liking her, simply because no girl had ever taken the initiative to give him gifts before. It made him think Willow wasn't a gold digger. He even started giving her quite a few gifts in return. Big miscalculation. I tried reminding Makoto, but it didn't seem to work. Everyone has their own fate. I'm lucky enough just to save myself. After all, in the original storyline, I died horribly trying to save him. Chapter 12. At the start of senior year, it was time to pay for textbooks and school uniforms, but our family showed no intention of paying for Willow anymore. I had already told my mom she was not allowed to pay for Willow again. Gio, why hasn't my textbook fee been paid yet? The teacher is already urging me. Now that she couldn't get anything out of me, Willow no longer had the patience she used to, but she still needed me, and combined with how I acted like I loved her to the extreme. We hadn't completely fallen out yet. I sighed. Willow, you know our family isn't well off. We really can't afford it anymore, she said coldly. What about you? You can pay your fees on time, why won't you pay mine? The sheer entitlement made me want to slap her, but I took a deep breath and said with difficulty, our family doesn't have money. If you don't pay, I don't pay either. But, Willow, I'm a top student. I get a fee waiver. Willow frowned tightly and bit her lip. Gio, you've changed. Do you not like me anymore? I widened my eyes, filling my face with disbelief and disappointment. Willow, how can you say that? Just because I can't give you money, you're questioning my feelings for you. You've changed. You've become shallow. You're not the pure Willow I used to know. After delivering a full moral lecture, I turned and left without caring about her reaction. George, since Willow couldn't get anything from me, Grandma Lou came to my house and started shouting curses. No conscience. You promised to support my granddaughter's education, but now you won't pay. Acting generous when you've got no money. You've ruined my granddaughter's chance to go to school, heartless people. My mom was so angry she rushed out, ready to argue with her. I stopped her, completely calm. When it comes to making a scene, could she really beat me? The old lady had a loud voice. I let her keep shouting a bit longer, drawing the neighbors out to watch. When the timing felt right, I opened the door and stepped out, facing a crowd of curious eyes. Seeing me, the old lady became even more aggressive. You poor brat, what makes you think you're worthy of my granddaughter? I narrowed my eyes, pouted, then secretly pinched my thigh hard enough to squeeze out 2 tears. With a hoarse voice, I said, Grandma Lou, please let us go. My family really has no money left. My parents supported Willow's education for over 10 years, raising her like their own daughter. Isn't that enough? For that 10,000 yuan your granddaughter needed, my dad worked himself into the hospital. You don't care about my dad, but I do. The onlookers immediately began criticizing Grandma Lou. Auntie, go home already. Don't make this uglier than it is. Mrs. Lou, George's family has supported your granddaughter for so many years, you can't repay kindness with cruelty. Exactly. All these years, whatever George had, Willow had too. Nothing was ever lacking for her. People have eyes. Everyone had seen clearly how our family treated Willow all these years. Unable to argue with me, the old lady suddenly sat down on the ground and started wailing. Oh my back. Oh my chest. Willow had sent her grandmother to cause a scene, while she herself stayed at home enjoying the results. I immediately went and knocked on her door. Willow, can you stop your grandma from making a scene? It's disturbing everyone. I'll go find a job tomorrow. I'll definitely help you gather the money. But your grandma is old, she might hurt herself from anger. Please take her back inside to rest. Hearing this, the crowd began murmuring. Willow is really inconsiderate, letting her grandma make a scene and not even stepping in. George's family raised her for so many years, and she turns out to be so ungrateful. Now Willow had no way to hide. The moment she opened the door, she raised her hand to slap me, her voice choked with emotion. George, I misjudged you, you're selfish and cold-blooded. Of course, I didn't dodge. How can you hit someone like that? A neighbor scolded her. I shook my head. It's fine, Auntie. I don't blame her. Willow has already had it so hard. The aunt sighed helplessly. Sigh, you're both the same age, but you're so sensible. Unlike that girl. Willow glared at me furiously, then dragged her still injured grandmother back inside. She said, George, I will never forgive you. After how you treated me, don't expect me to ever like you again. I was speechless. Chapter 13. Willow's tuition was eventually paid. Makoto paid it for her. I was even more speechless, but she still didn't seem to be in a good mood, probably because of debt collectors pressuring her. She was so busy working part-time that she couldn't even focus on her studies. By chance, I discovered that she had put the gifts Makoto gave her up for sale on a second-hand platform. Then she came to apologize to me again. Gio, what I said that day was out of anger. I was just too worried about my grandma, but I raised my hand to stop her, my tone filled with sorrow and finality. Willow, you don't need to say anything. I understand everything. Your grandma was right. I'm not worthy of you. Go find someone better. I wish you happiness. Clearly, Willow had a strong sense of entitlement. When I said I wasn't worthy of her, she couldn't even argue. But at the same time, she had no way to reconcile with me, no way to get anything from me anymore. She was full of frustration, yet had no grounds to vent it at me. After all, I was just a love-struck simp who loved her but could never have her. Chapter 14. Willow was trying to latch onto Makoto, the rich second-generation guy, while also dealing with her creditors. She had no energy left to bother with me. My life finally returned to peace. The next time I heard about her was during winter break. She had been beaten and hospitalized. The other party was Makoto's childhood friend, Maria. It was said that Willow publicly accused Maria of seducing her boyfriend and even slapped her. But the truth was, Makoto had never even confirmed a relationship with Willow. On top of that, Maria's family was powerful, not someone to mess with. As a result, Maria suffered a ruptured eardrum, while Willow lost sight in one eye. But Willow had been the one to strike first. Maria acted in self-defense. In the original storyline, Makoto had already fallen for Willow. No one knows what method he used, but he managed to make Maria drop the charges. He even paid for Willow's surgery and visited her in the hospital every day. And the person who donated a cornea to Willow was me. She was deeply moved by that, which is why after my death, she went mad with revenge against Makoto. I gathered evidence of Willow selling off the luxury gifts Makoto had given her to repay debts, as well as proof of her taking out online loans, and anonymously sent it all to the Ito family. Makoto Ito might be brainless, but I refuse to believe his family is. Chapter 15. I went to the hospital, not to visit Willow, just to check on the situation. Sure enough, Makoto wasn't there. I heard he had been confined by the Ito family. Without him taking care of everything for her, Willow was living miserably. The moment she saw me, it was like she had found a savior. Gio, can you help me? You're the only one I have left. I sighed. Willow, how can I help you? I'm just an ordinary person. No power, no influence, no money. No, you have a way. You can definitely save me, she said firmly. She continued, the debt collectors keep pressuring me. Maria is also holding me accountable, and I've lost sight in my left eye. Gio, you can take out a high-interest loan. Once I recover, I'll definitely find a way to pay it back. Please help me. Okay. I didn't refuse. I just said, I'll go back and think of a solution. This was all her own doing. She insisted on getting close to Makoto, insisted on borrowing money to spend. No one forced her. She was also the one who slapped Maria, without thinking about the consequences at all. Just because she's the female lead, she thinks she can act however she wants. After all, the ones who clean up her mess are me and Makoto. How does someone this foolish and malicious even become the female lead? Chapter 16. There's no way I'm donating a cornea. Willow not only has debts to repay, but also has to compensate Maria's family for medical expenses, and she still wants surgery to fix her eye. That's not a small amount of money. I was a bit unsure. How can an ordinary person obtain a large sum of money all at once? There are very few ways. Advertisements for selling kidneys started appearing frequently near my house. Even browsing online, I kept seeing loan ads pop up. Just when I had given up hope, I happened to pass by a lottery shop. I took out 10 yuan. Why not try? Just once. Let's see if this plot is still willing to favor the female lead. The moment I scratched the ticket, I felt like I didn't hate Willow anymore. Thank you, my god of fortune. 3 million yuan, 94 million after tax. I took my mom to claim the prize and told her not to tell anyone. I thought Willow was completely finished, but I underestimated the power of the female lead's plot armor. Even without me supporting her, she still had the male lead. Makoto Ito threatened with his life, forcing the Ito family to step in and help Willow. Maria's family dropped the lawsuit, and Willow's debts were cleared, but Makoto was also forced to transfer schools. The Ito family helped Willow one last time, in exchange for Makoto cutting ties with her. None of that has anything to do with me anymore. At least I managed to protect myself. I participated in a math Olympiad competition and secured a guaranteed university admission spot. In the original plot, Willow acted pitiful in front of me. She said, if my parents were still alive, they would definitely want me to get into a good university. Gio, your grades are good. You'll get into this university through the college entrance exam anyway. But I'm different. With just a few words, she made me willingly give up my spot. But now, with how distant we've become, she probably won't even dare to ask, because she knows very well, I wouldn't agree. Makoto's call came to me. He spoke in a low, cautious tone. Is this George? How is Willow? Has she been discharged? I can't reach her, I asked, confused. How do you have my number? He hesitated. I have a friend in your class. How is Willow now? Before I could answer, there was a burst of noise on his end, and the call was abruptly cut off. He was probably calling in secret. Chapter 17. I was recommended for admission to Capital University, and my dad came back specially to celebrate for me. The day he returned was uncannily perfect. It happened to be the very day I was supposed to die. In the original plot, Makoto would sneak out by climbing over the wall to find Willow that day, but on the way, he would run into a group of thugs nearby. Willow would be freeloading a meal at my house and just happen to leave her phone behind. I would receive Makoto's call for help and run out to find him, and I would be stabbed to death. Willow would be devastated and cut ties with Makoto. Out of guilt, Makoto would transfer her money repeatedly, even marking it as voluntary gifts. Willow would take my guaranteed university admission spot, go to college, and later rely on Makoto's support to build her own career. After that, she would begin taking revenge on Makoto, eventually bringing down the Ito family. Makoto would end up destitute and homeless, yet still kneel before Willow, begging for her forgiveness. I found it utterly ridiculous. I was the one who saved him. Okay. The person he owed was me. Why didn't he ever take care of my parents instead? Chapter 18. At dinner, my parents prepared a table full of dishes. Willow still came. The bandage over her eye hadn't been removed yet. Her face was pale, and she looked extremely weak. Gio, I came to congratulate you, I said. No need. You can leave. For the first time, I didn't pretend. I treated her coldly without any courtesy. I had no choice. I was afraid I might lose my life tonight, but she said, George, I'm not here to do anything. I just wanted to bring you a gift. She raised the cake and the gift bag in her hands. In the past, you were always the one preparing surprises for me. This time, I wanted to do something for you. When my mom saw Willow's injured eye, she couldn't help but feel a bit sorry for her. After all, she had watched Willow grow up. George, let her come in. She'll just have a meal with us. No, I was firm. Willow said timidly, Auntie, George is still angry with me. I won't come in. After saying that, she put down the cake and the gift and left. I immediately felt relieved. My parents didn't say much either. After all, the scene Grandma Lou made at our house before had completely chilled their hearts. I went back to the table and continued eating. Something felt off. Willow's attitude wasn't right. I had never truly fallen out with her. I had always acted like I loved her deeply. But when she was hospitalized, I showed no concern at all. And now that she came to my house, I firmly drove her away. Didn't she find that strange? And just now, she acted so timid, completely submissive. That wasn't like her. What's wrong, George? My mom asked suspiciously, placing a piece of ribs in my bowl. I threw down my chopsticks and rushed to the gift bag left by the door. Inside was a scarf. As I searched through it, I suddenly found a phone hidden at the bottom. Damn it. Was this some coincidence arranged by the plot, or did Willow deliberately do this after awakening? There was no time to think. I grabbed the items and knocked on Willow's door. Grandma Lou opened it and said, What are you here for? Don't think I'll ever agree to let you marry Willow. Where's Willow? I cut her off. Not in the mood for nonsense. She kept ranting. I lost patience and threw the items at her. Take Willow's things back. After returning home, the tension in my chest finally eased. Chapter 19. After dinner, I went back to my room early and played on my phone. I told my parents that if Willow came again, they must not open the door. Since she cares so much about Makoto, she can go save him herself. The worst-case scenario is calling the police. After all, there's nothing I can really do. I'm not about to go block a knife again. But no matter how much I calculated, I didn't expect Makoto to call my phone. He had called me before. I recognized the number. I was genuinely scared. Is the plot's will really that powerful? Would I suddenly get dragged into that alley and be stabbed to death? Watching the screen flashing non-stop, I felt conflicted. There's no way I'm completely unaffected by the original plot. I died protecting Makoto, yet he directed all his guilt toward Willow. My parents didn't end well either. I resented him, but at the same time, I felt that maybe he was also influenced by the plot. Maybe we're all victims. A war raged in my mind. I sighed and answered the call. George. I'm near your house. I think I'm being followed. Can you help me? His voice was low, as if he was trying not to be noticed. I said, head somewhere with more people first. Then I hung up and called the nearest police station. 110. It still needed to be transferred. I had saved the number in advance just in case. Calling the police was the only thing I could do, no matter what. I was not stepping out of this house tonight. Chapter 20. I was the one who called the police, so they came to me for questioning. Makoto still got into trouble. The police arrived in time, and those thugs didn't get a chance to act. But Makoto was hit by a car. He was still unconscious. It was clearly an accident. But ever since I awakened to the plot, nothing felt like a coincidence anymore. Willow came to my classroom, her face full of hatred. George, this is all your fault. If anything happens to Makoto, I won't let you off. Seeing the blatant hatred in her eyes, I found it almost ironic. The roles of the male lead and the supporting character had been reversed. Makoto was the one in danger, and Willow blamed me. Makoto still hadn't passed the critical stage. Did one of us have to die? The surrounding classmates started murmuring. Willow, cut the bullshit. Makoto got help because I called the police. The police got there in time. He was hospitalized because he got hit by a car. Willow's eyes were red as she pointed at me. If you had gone to save him, none of this would have happened. I laughed. Why would I go? Willow definitely knows about the plot now, I said. Calling the police was already more than enough. Willow, why are you so certain that if I had gone, Makoto wouldn't have been hurt. Her expression stiffened, and she avoided my question. She said, "It's all your fault. You're the sinner." I sneered. "Right and wrong will be judged by the law. If you've got something shady going on, don't try to pin it on me." Chapter 21. Afraid that Willow might come looking for trouble, I asked my teacher for leave. Since I had already secured my guaranteed admission, the teacher didn't question me much. This was a life I had barely managed to keep. I needed to cherish it. My mom had already started looking at houses. Soon, we'd be moving away, far from Willow. That day, I received a call from an unfamiliar number. "Hello, this is Makoto's mother. Could we meet?" I made a somewhat impolite request. "Could you come to my house?" Makoto's mother was an elegant and gentle woman. I poured her a glass of water. "Sorry, Auntie, someone's been causing me trouble lately, so I try not to go out." She smiled lightly, not offended at all. "I came to thank you. If it weren't for you, who knows what danger Makoto might have faced?" I asked. "How is Makoto now?" "He woke up a while ago, but we haven't made it public." "That's good." Makoto's mother hesitated for a moment, then asked softly, "I have this feeling that something is strange between you, Makoto, and that Willow girl. Is there something I don't know about?" She continued, "I don't even know how to ask. My son wasn't like this before, but recently, he's been very off." Seeing her troubled expression, I frowned anxiously. If I told her about the plot, she'd probably think I was insane. When I didn't respond, she went on. "Yesterday, Makoto took a private jet to Country M overnight. He didn't even remove his cast. He insisted on leaving and even said he wants to drop out." "What?" I was stunned. "He ran." I asked, "Why?" Makoto's mother shook her head. "I don't know either. He originally wanted to thank you in person, but he seemed very afraid. He insisted on going abroad, so he asked me to come see you instead. He said, 'Thank you for still being willing to help him. And also, the Ito family will deal with Willow, so you don't need to worry.'" At that point, I roughly understood what was going on. Being rich really is nice. You awaken in the morning, and by night you can already flee the country, avoiding a scripted death. She added, "Makoto is recovering overseas now. Once Willow's situation is settled, he'll come find you. He said he wants to be friends with you." I smiled. "Then I wish him a speedy recovery." From Makoto's mother, I also learned things I hadn't known before. Makoto had recorded his calls. It turned out that when he realized something was wrong, the first person he called was Willow. But Willow said, "Makoto, it's too late. My grandma won't let me go out. Go find George, he's nearby." No wonder Makoto ended up calling me. I shrugged. "Auntie, you might not believe this, but Willow brings bad luck to anyone who gets close to her." Makoto's mother was speechless. She forced a polite smile. "She really isn't a good person." Before leaving, she handed me a bank card. Well, this is a bit awkward. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want it, but she was so polite and gentle that I felt embarrassed to accept it. After all I did was make a phone call. I scratched my head. "I just made a call. I didn't really do much." Makoto's mother smiled. "Take it. The money isn't mine. It's Makoto's savings from his allowance. I don't have the authority to decide what to do with it. It's just pocket money. Not much. Use it to buy yourself some snacks." He said, "You didn't just save his life, you saved our whole family." Makoto is the only son of the Ito family. To his mother, saving him was equivalent to saving the entire family. But I heard something deeper in her words. In a way, both Makoto's and my awakening really did change the fate of the Ito family. Since it was Makoto's own money, I didn't refuse anymore. I accepted it. Chapter 22. The incident where Willow injured Maria was taken to court by Maria's family. She was sentenced for intentional assault and sent to prison. Meanwhile, the Ito family, who had previously lent her a large sum of money, was now demanding repayment. At last, I could truly relax. Grandma Lu came to my house again to make a scene. As her wailing echoed outside the door, my parents and I quietly packed our belongings inside. I said, "Let's go. Once we move to the new place, we won't have to deal with this mess anymore." With nothing to do, I suddenly remembered the bank card Makoto had given me. I didn't think much of it until I checked the balance, and nearly had a heart attack. This is what they call pocket money. This is what Makoto's mother meant by not much money. This is supposed to be money for buying snacks. Even if I were a competitive eater, I couldn't spend this much on food. What did I, George, ever do to deserve meeting two walking gods of fortune?